In this video, I am explaining the implementation of simple linear regression model using ordinary least square method in Python. So, as discussed in the theory part of the simple linear regression, I will be using the dataset for predicting students' end semester examination marks from their internal or mid-semester examination marks and the classroom attendance. The objective of the regression analysis is to analyze whether there exists a relationship between classroom attendance and end semester examination and mid-semester examination and end semester examination. So here I am dividing the regression modeling in two different parts, means that I am developing two different regression models. One is for mid-semester examination to establish the relationship between the mid-semester examination and end semester examination mark, and the second model that I would like to build is for classroom attendance and the end semester examination mark. So like usual, I have already uploaded my data set which is present in this file attendance mark sa.csv, and here I have imported the files that are regularly needed to build to process the data. So those modules are the pandas, NumPy, Seaborn is for Seaborn, and MATLAB, Matplotlib for data visualization. In addition to our usual modules, I have imported two additional modules here. First, statsmodels.api, which implements the method for ordinary least square, and some additional math module I have imported, which are needed to perform some basic mathematical operation. So here I have loaded the data set into the memory as a data frame, pandas data frame, and after reading the loading the data set into the data frame, um, I have executed the method called describe, which prints or displays the descriptive statistics for the given data set. The points that we should observe in the output of this uh, method is that there exist three different columns. First one is the attendance, second one is the mid-semester examination, and third one is the end semester examination. And there are 73 different entries are present in the dataset. In addition to that, it prints average value, that is means standard deviation, minimum value, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and the maximum value for each input, each feature variable. Here the output feature variable is the end semester examination, and we would like to establish the relationship between our output variable, that is the end semester examination mark, and there are two different input variables are present because we are building two different regression model. One is for attendance and ESC, and second is for mid semester examination and the end semester examination. So the first activity that we need to do is the data. After reading the data set into the memory, we want to perform the correlation analysis, and how the correlation analysis is performed, let us see. The correlation analysis is performed like this. There is one command on the data frame called CORR, which stands for the correlation analysis, and we can print its output in a somewhat visually appealing way through the command background gradient, which will display the correlation analysis result. This is called the correlation matrix. In the correlation matrix, uh, rows and the columns are labeled with the features in the data set. There are three features in the data set: attendance, mid-semester examination, and the end semester examination. All rows and the columns are labeled with the same feature variable, and you can read the entries in the this matrix represent the Pearson coefficient. Here that, and for if you have calculated performed a correlation analysis is basically performed between two different variables. That's why it is called as the bivariate analysis. And when you perform the correlation analysis of a feature variable with itself, you always get the result of 1. And when you perform the correlation analysis with attendance and the mid-semester examination, these are the two different variables, and the results that we got here is 0.08, means it does not signify a very strong linear relationship between the attendance and the mid-semester examination mark. Similarly, attendance and end semester examination also, there is no strong correlation is present between the value is 0.10. In order to have a very strong correlation, ideally it should be greater than 6, 7 or 8 or 9. It should be nearer to the 1. That relationship is called as the strong correlation between the two different variables. Here we observe the correlation between the mid-semester examination marks and the end semester examination marks are 0.75. So that is somewhat a strong correlation is present between the mid-semester examination mark and the end semester examination mark. So lower triangular and the upper triangular portion of this matrix is always say same. Now we can plot the correlation. We can visualize the correlation between two different variables by plotting a correlation by plotting a scatter plot like this. Here what I am doing is that here I am plotting a correlation scatter plot to see to visualize whether there exists any linear relationship between the two variables that I am interested. First I am going to build a linear model or a simple linear regression model between the mid-semester examination and the end semester examination. So here my first variable is x. On this is the color. This is I am calling it as the independent variable mid-semester examination, which I am taking it on the x-axis, and end semester examination, I suppose that it depends upon the mid semester examination, which is my hypothesis, and which I am going to check it whether there is whether the end semester examination mark really depends on the mid semester examination marks or not. So this dependent variable I am taking it on the y axis, and here I am plotting the scatter plot using the scatter plot method from the Seaborn module. So this is the scatter plot that I got. This scatter plot shows all the 73 entries for that, and we can draw a linear relationship between line between that passes from the ordinary square line between this scatter point. So the next step after performing the data visualization is to pre-process the data. In the pre-processing of the data, we are separating the input vectors from the output vectors, and how it can be done, let us see. So here my output variable, which I am calling it as the end OG, is the end semester examination mark. Here I have separated it from the given data frame, and I need to add one more constant vector in the input because which represents my beta 0. And my input variable is the mid-semester examination mark for the first linear regression model. So let us check after the pre-processing what is the result of the pre-processing. What does it mean by adding the constant? See, you will you can check that a constant vector of 1.0 is added in the input data. There are two input vectors are present. One is the called constant, and another is called the mid semester examination mark. These are the two columns that are used to build simple linear regression model. There are 73 rows are there and two columns are there, which represents the input vector, and the output vector in this case is the end OG, which is nothing but the end semester examination marks. After pre-processing of the data, we need to build the model, and for building the model, we are going to use the stats model function for building the model, and let us see which is the stat model functions are there to build the simple linear regression model. So simple linear regression model can be we want to build using the ordinary least square method. So there is one OLS method is present in our stat model, which is called which we are calling it as the SM, which takes two different parameters. One is called, the first parameter is always the output variable, and the second parameter is the input vectors. So after doing that, we get one model. On that we need to execute the method called model fitting or fit method, and we can print the summary of the model building. See, this summary is quite useful, which needs to be interpreted whether our model is good or not. So in the theory portion, we have seen that a model is evaluated on the very different terms. The beta 0 and beta 1, there are two different parameters are there, or two different measures are available. Beta 0 to evaluate the quality of the beta 0 and beta 1. Here the quality of the beta 0 and beta 1 is usually measured, that we have seen using the t statistics and the p-value. So for the beta 0, that is the constant, the value of t is 17.616, and it is very much greater than as compared to the 1.741. And similarly, the mid-semester examination t statistics also is very much greater than the standard error, that is 9.59. So that's why both beta 0 and beta 1 are has sufficient quality for producing the acceptable results. Then the p-value is also greater than 0.0. P-value is also less than 0.05. That's why these values are there. And r square is 0.565. Here the r square value is 0.565. Ideally, the r square value, in order to have a strong relationship, it should be very closer to the 1. But this above the any value that is above the 0.5 indicates that there is linear relationship is present, though it is some that much not strong, the linear relation is present. See now, here what does it mean in our application? Here we are trying to predict the mid-semester examination mark from the end semester examination mark from the mid-semester examination mark, and the question that we are trying to answer is that is it is it a good predictor? Mid-semester, is the mid-semester examination marks are the good predictor or not? And that can be answered by using this R square. So R square tells us that you can predict the end semester examination marks, and for predicting the end semester examination, one mark in the mid semester examination will have 0.565 marks increase in the end semester examination. So this is the interpretation that you can draw from the these results. Now, after printing this, we need to calculate the residual sum error, which we have defined. And for calculating the residual sum error, here I am defining one function called residual sum summation of errors, and it shows that this residual sum error is a function which takes two different values. One is the true value of the y, and another is the predicted value by our model. And then it implements the formula for calculating the residual sum error. And this function we are calling it in our from our main program. So here is the main program which we are calling the method of residual sum error, and let us check what is the error. Residual sum error is 4.39, and let us try to interpret this. It means that our model will predict the end semester examination mark from the mid semester examination mark with a degree of error plus or minus 4.39. And I think in our application, this error of plus or minus 4 is acceptable one because it is not changing results drastically. The error which is not acceptable means the plus or minus 15 or plus or minus 20, if the error is value is not acceptable because it changes the class of the student. It may tell the student, a past student may tell as a failed students, or all failed students may be predicted as a past student. So our model is not doing that. Our model is predicting the marks with 4.39 accurate. Suppose the students predicted value is 45, students may get marks in the range between the 41 to 49, and that is the acceptable range in our case. So this is the interpretation of our first model. Let us try to build the second model now, that is from whether the attendance, can we predict the marks, end semester examination marks from his or her classroom attendance. Suppose that a student is attending all the classes, and from that record can we make some guess about his end semester performance, and that question that we need to answer. And to answer that question, what I am again doing is that I am taking attendance as the x on the x parameter, that is independent value, and y is the dependent value. Do you think that our end semester examination mark depends on the classroom attendance? Let us check whether what our data set tells. And our data set will give you very interesting result in this regard. This is the scatter plot that we have opted, and see, the scatter plot is very much dispersed one. And let us try to check whether it will predict our end semester marks correctly or not. And see here again, I am following the same process of separating the input variables from the output variables. Using now my output variable is the end semester examination mark, and the input variable is the attendance, and later and the constant is added. Now my input vector has two different columns. One is the constant, and another is the mid semester examination mark. Once and I have separated that, we need to build the model now that we did in the last time. Here I am building the model. So my model will use the same method OLS from the stat model. After building the OLS model, it will fit the model and print the result. Let us check the summary and compare these two different models. See now, here the R square value is very much poor, that is 0.012. It means that it is nearer to the 0, and nearer to the 0 means that attendance and end semester marks are not linearly related. And again check our what our parameters are saying. T statistics for the attendance, the absolute value of T statistic is very much less, that is 0.932, and p value is again the greater than 0.05, means that our model is telling that the attendance is not a good predictor for students in semester examination. And that is true. Majority of the students who attend the if the students are physically attending the classes without giving the proper attention in the class, they may have not good academic results. And sometimes there are some students which are not attending the classes at all. They are studying at their home. They may get the good end semester examination mark. And this is quite intuitive to our classroom attendance also. This is the data set that tells particularly that is applicable from this data set. We can see, we can observe that there is not a relationship, correlation is present between the classroom attendance and the end semester examination mark. But at the same time, there is a correlation is present between the end semester marks and the classroom attendance, end semester mid semester marks and the end semester mark. See, compare this value with the R square value for the first model is 0.5, whereas the R square value for the second value is 0.012, and this stat and compare the p-value which is most significant, the p-value here is less than 0.05, but here the p-value is greater than 0.05, that is 0.354, and that's why these results are not the significant, but the first results are the significant. And from this we can draw a conclusion that mid-semester examination mark is a predictor. I can't say that whether it is good predictor because its strength of the relationship is again weak, but it is a predictor for the end semester examination mark. But the classroom attendance is not the good predictor for the end semester examination mark. Thank you.